Hey everyone, welcome to this week's Force Friday session. I am here with Diego, Mritunjay, and Swendly. Hey guys, how are you all doing?
Good.
Hey everyone.
Diego, good turn.
Diego is smart.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's come down to hand.
Yes, now that's me. Hello, how are you, Mike?
It's safe now. We're past the hurdle of hellos. So welcome everyone. We have a very exciting hour program ahead of us today, talking about how to draw animals with force. As probably most of you know at this point, I wrote a book on force animals. You know, with all my books, I hope to actually learn something myself through the act of writing them. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. And the other force instructors are going to help me out with sharing with you how to basically take a core shape across all mammals and basically take that shape and work it across the different locomotive mammal types. So we're going to talk about plantigrade mammals today, the Digitigrades and the ungulates or Unguligrade mammals, right? So let's just get to it. As always, you know, feel free to type in any thoughts you may have into the live chat. Let's get rid of this and this. Please, if you are enjoying, obviously, the Force channel and these live sessions, and hit the subscribe button, and you want to hit the bell for notifications so you know when something new is coming up. Very quickly, tomorrow at 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, we're going to be premiering our interview with Gary Villarreal. So hopefully I'll see you guys there. It's an awesome, awesome interview. Not only, again, do we talk about his past and how he became the artist that he is today, but he'll be doing a demonstration in there. And Gary will be there tomorrow to talk to you guys live. So please come to that. As always, we're also going to do, we're not going to be announcing today because that was already last week. Beatrice, I think, and Diego are working on her prize, which was to do a, almost like what you would get on premium at our website, right? He's going to do a critique of her work, a one-on-one critique. So we're going to do that today again. If we break 150 on the likes, we do have another giveaway for you guys. So, you know, hit the like button. We're trying to break 150. And that's it. So let's get started. So I like, you know, the force method is not something that I just kind of created out of thin air. It's based on physics and anatomy. So that's where I started when I wrote the book on the animal drawing. And what I started thinking about was, you know, here are the forces in the human body, right? So we have these four major forces. We have this pushing out of the neck to the right, right? And here you go from the upper back and then down into the stomach, and then finally into the pelvis and hips. Now this is built basically off of the idea of the human spine, right? The human spine's path looks something like this. It's just that every time we have a concave, we're basically pushing to the other side, okay? And that gives us this rhythm that goes across the body in this profile view to, you know, have masses that are balanced by forces. So I decided, what happens if I take the human body and I put it horizontal, right? So here we have the same forces that you see on the left, but put horizontal. And you can see, obviously, that starts creating also an awkward bend for us in the neck, right? Because we're raising our head up from the ground, right? We're not meant to crawl around on our hands and our feet, right, on all fours. So what happens is we get to this kind of setup, right? Now you can see that what's occurring is we've gone from four forces, right, creating these rhythms, to only three. We have this upward push in the pelvis, the downward hanging of the rib cage, and this upward sweep into the neck, right? Why does that happen though, right? This idea of going from four to three, there's a reason for that. So the reason for that, and in all transparency, this is something I only discovered when I actually wrote the book, was in mammals, their shoulder blades, their scapula, are not attached to the rib cage, right? They're actually separated, where ours is actually attached, obviously. at this joint, right, in the scapula, right? So you got the clavicle going into the scapula, and you have the humerus, moving into the side of the scapula as well, right? So our shoulder blades have some motion. We can go up and down and left and right with our shoulders, but on mammals, theirs slide quite vigorously along the sides of their rib cage, right? So here's a human rib cage in a cross section, and it can move left and right and up and down. But on an animal's rib cage, it slides all the way up and down the sides, right? Which is why in something like a cat, especially, right, you'll see the scapula really push its way past almost the edge of the back, right? You'll see it actually poke out, right? This also gives us this, notice here the shape of the rib cage is more vertical, right? Ours is more horizontal, as you can see here. So the rib cage on a mammal is hanging downward, right? And it's probably, again, over thousands or millions of years of evolution and gravity and how it's affecting the architecture or anatomy of the mammal. Right? So where does that get us to? Right? What that gets us to is this. And this was my, my big discovery. I was like, okay, well, I have these three main forces. The reason they work the way they do is because we now have the pushing up, right, into the pelvis, right? So this is a rigid moment, right? We've got the pelvis here. We're going to have arms and legs, well, legs in this case, and so on, pushing over here. So this is going to be pushing up. Then over here, we have the hanging down of the rib cage. If you think about it, right, that puts actually a lot of sort of muscular stress and tendons on the limbs in the foreground, because we have shoulder blade sitting here, and that goes into the shoulder, and that'll take us from the elbow and then down, to the hands, right? So for the most part, that means the rib cage is literally hanging in that space, right? And it's suspended there by the musculature coming from the scapula and the shoulders, right, into and attached to the rib cage, right? Not skeletally attached, okay? So that really pushes force downwards. We have that hanging. And then last but not least, we sweep up into this reverse in the neck, which brings us up through the neck and into the head, right? So that's how I've gotten to this place of this force animal shape. Those of you that have watched already the interview with Josh, he had brought up a few times graciously that for him, the Force Animal book really helped him learn how to draw animals because of this simplification. Right? Normally, when we all look at mammals, and again, I was in the same boat, just like, oh my God, how am I going to draw these animals? They look so complicated. But at least if you can start here, you basically have the body of the car, right? Like here's the chassis. You want to understand this main force animal shape. And that animal shape can get quite manipulated. You can go from drawing a cat to drawing a giraffe and squash and stretch and pull and pull this animal shape to whatever the silhouette is of the mammal you're drawing. And then basically take that and put different tires on it. And the tires are based on what grade of locomotion that mammal is. Again, if it's Plantigrade, Digitigrade, or Unguligrade, right? So that's the setup, right? That's how the book actually works. That's how I learned to make my way through that book and drawing all the different mammals. And I'm pretty proud of it, actually. I think it's a pretty clean, clear system. So that's what we're going to share with you today, right? So one thing we don't want to forget is shape is not flat, right? So you want to make sure as you're drawing the shapes, you keep them filled with form, right? That your animals have structure, right? Let's see how I'm doing on time. I'm doing well. So you want to make sure that they have form. When I do animal drawing on location, the first mammal that I'll take students to in the zoo is the seal, right? The seal is almost a perfect example of the force mammal shape, right? It's like perfectly smooth and streamlined. You can see all the straights and the curves in it. So you could say in some weird way that you're taking a seal and you're taking a seal and turning it into a dog, turning it into a bear, taking a seal and turning it into a horse, right? Like at the core, all of these animals have this seal-like body, right? So the way to begin this, before I hand it off to Swendly, The way to start all this is by just trying to practice these force shapes, right? And this kind of works really well off of what we talked about last time, because we talked about animated shape design, right? So here's our animated shape design, and you just want to get accustomed to, to drawing that, right? Let's just kind of doodle around, right? Now just try out different poses. Hold on, I can't stand when, don't like when smoothing is on. Okay. All right, so here's my ribbon. This would be the head of whatever this animal is. I'm putting an overlap into it, so I put that part of the body in front of this part of the body. So there's an animal shape. I've got this force to this force. This one I wrapped all the way around, so maybe I should do something a little simpler. Yeah. Almost like drawing a slope. Right? I want to fill it with form, right? So even just simple wrapping can do that. We can put a turning edge in here if we wanted, right? I can come down like this and say, well, let me get the turning edge of it. Here's the actual bottom versus the sides. And as I was saying to you earlier, this can be any kind of animal. So, we can turn this into a giraffe, right? Which have a very triangular body, really long neck and head. Right, and there's my animal shape. It's still the same shape, right? I'm hitting the top of the pelvis, dropping down into the rib cage, and I'm sweeping up to the neck and head. Right? So still a force shape. So we can go all the way from that to, to a seal, like what I'm drawing here. It could be a cat or a dog. It could be a horse, which again is what you'll see from the other guys. What's cool about this, and this isn't something we're going to really focus on today, so I'll bring it up here, but you can draw animals from imagination like this, right? I could say I want something that's really narrow in the pelvis, and maybe has a huge chest, right? Maybe a little neck with a huge head. So again, I don't know what this is, but I can take the shape, right, the force shapes, and turn that into whatever I want to turn it into. Right? How are we doing up there? Any questions? I won't be able to look at the evolutionary process the same. No, I know, I'm with you, Beatrice. It's kind of weird how this all works out. And how am I doing on time, guys? All right,
You're fine. You have like 3 minutes left.
Good. I'll do a couple more sketches, and then I'm going to hand this over to Swendly.
I think Diego is next.
Actually, it's me. Yeah, right.
Sorry, that's right. Diego will be handling Plantigrade, so that'll be our first step. So I guess in closing, before I hand it off, what I want you to be aware of is, again, you've got force animal shape, right? Like so. Looks like a seal, right? You've got, this is your curve here, which means this is your straight down here. This is your curve here, which means you've got your straight over here, and this is your curve here, and you got your straight here, right? So that's this, you got 3 straight to curve shapes basically that are happening. And then the real question is what goes on down here, right? This is what the other guys are going to show you today, right? It's like, what happens if I go to Plantigrade, right? If I go to Plant, if I go to Digi, or I go to Unguligrade, right? That's what we're going to fill in over here. But at least, man, look at, you've got the main part of the body, right? You've got the trunk of the body taken care of at this point. You just want to try to get the proportions right, the shape and silhouette of that particular animal, and then figure out how you're going to plug in, everything underneath it. Okay. All right. With that, I'm going to pass this along over here to Diego. All right.
Right here waiting. So let me share this with you guys. Okay. Plantigrades. super funny little humans, actually animals. Okay, to be honest with you guys, I was talking to the other instructors lately. I'm not much of an animal drawer, so this catch me as a surprise. So we're gonna do a live sessions talking about animals. So I gotta grab my Force Animal book and take a look at it, draw some animals from photos, and well, we'll see how fun is this. Okay, so basically this was talking Mike just a minute ago. The basic forces on the trunk of the animal, and the plantigrades, as you can see in comparison with the human anatomy. If you look at the legs, take a look. They're pretty close. They're kind of the same. We have here. I don't know why I'm using the mouse. If I have my tablet here, so you will have here this, right? And here's absolutely the same. Okay, this will be the foot. And here, let's call it the arm of the animal. And in comparison with the arm of the human, take a look. We have like the shoulder, forearm, arm, sorry, and forearm. And then we have the wrist and the hand. Okay, so if we keep this in mind, we were talking about raccoons, we were talking about bears, we're talking about kangaroos. You can find many plantigrades, and if you have these concepts in mind, it's gonna be pretty easy if you're able to draw already, right? It's gonna be pretty easy to get them going. Let me show you a couple of drawings I did just studying this thing and playing around. These are some quick bears. Don't ask me if they are grizzly bears or black bears or whatever. They are bears. What I find funny that I will show you in a minute is something that make a bear, and you can even if at the last moment you didn't put this, it maybe look like a lion, it maybe look like something else, but when you put this thing, it becomes a bear automatically. Now, here are some more. These are pretty fun. I really like bears. Kind of love to say hi, like sit down, raise their arm, and do that gesture like they are saying hi. That's so funny. I really don't like the bears when they are standing. They look kind of weird because they like we saw just here like how their legs are made of, and this one when they stood up, they look something like this, and they look kind of weird, and the torso is kind of long in extension, so it's not looking good. I don't like them. I like bears, but I don't like when they're standing, and nevertheless before in front of me, I run away. I don't like bears standing in front of me. Okay, so without further ado, let me show you something that we find out during the last meeting we had with the guys, is that I can draw traditionally, and that's so good to me. I love doing this. Okay, so let me open this. I shouldn't be sharing this anymore, and I'm going to change this to this cam. Now, I think, Mike, you should pin me there so my video is showing instead of any other video. I don't know. Guys, can you see this page right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, not you guys. I mean guys on the chat. Are you able to see my...
Yeah, they can see it.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, amazing. Well, so as Mike said before, we can start thinking about this, right? Like this three moments, right? These three moments. And as this is a bear, I don't know if this is clear. If not, let me know and I press a little harder. So we have these three basic forces in the body of the animal. And as this is a bear, this is gonna be higher, right? It's gonna be big. And remember, we have like the legs that goes like this, and the arms that goes just like the human, right? Something like that. This is going to be the back leg, and this is going to be the front leg. So check this out. This is like we're talking. We need to understand like the volume in here, and let's go ahead and create this leg, right? So we're gonna have something like this. So check this out. We almost have. Let me go a little back there. So we have here one leg, and we have the body. So almost ready. You know, this goes in front of that leg, and here we're gonna have the front leg. So we're gonna have something like that. I'm doing this from my imagination, so forgive me if it's not perfect. But the idea here is to show you that once you understand how the animal works, you'll be able to create any type of animal from your imagination. So here's the head, right? The hair is like a triangle, just nothing more than that. And look at this. It looks like an hippopotamus or something like that. It's kind of weird. But first thing I noticed about bears is, okay, the nose. We all recognize that triangular nose in the bears. So that's cool. They have very, very small eyes. Very small eyes. And what creates the bear more than anything, and trust me, are the ears, the round ears. Once you get the ears there, you have a bear. It's so fun. I can't believe bears have those. Let me get it like this for you to see. Once you have those ears there, now it's a bear. Now it's a bear. The chest on the bears is really, really strong. And you can have many types of these animals, right? Like this kind of bears. We have the greasy bear. We have like the black bear. I love the black bears. I'm not super knowledgeable about bears, but greasy bears are the white ones. You see those polar bears. There are other ones. What else can I talk about this? So the head is the most difficult part of the bear to me. It's like because if you change a little bit of the hair or the shape of the head, imagine, let's do something like this for you to see what I'm talking about. If you change a little bit the shape, you kind of get to a lion. I don't know if you can see this, but if you go there, you almost get into a lion shape. So let's get more hair around. You see, it looks like these are problems I encounter what I was drawing. That the most difficult part of this animal of the bear to me, it was creating the face and making it look like a bear and not like other animal. So, but coming back to the point of the drawing and the basic shape, let me shade a little bit, give this a little tone. So this is exactly what Mike's drawing a minute ago. Okay, this basic shape, this basic force going up, going down, and this other one here, right? So we have these three main forces, and if we get them together, we have a big seal, right? This is like a big seal. But as you grow here the legs, is start changing and creating our beautiful bear. Beautiful, beautiful bear. We have the ears here. I like to draw some hair here, and you can also add some hairs to the legs. Look, watch this. This is a super sketchy drawing, but look how fast we can get to an animal. And once again, this is from imagination. So if you get a reference and you start drawing that and understanding how it works, you will find that it's so easy. I have another drawing here, so let me show you a couple of this so we can analyze this the same way. This is another drawing I did. And check this out. We have the same thing here. So that what we need to think now is that this is 3D. So that shape, and it's coming, is foreshortening. So it's coming towards us, right? It's coming from here. We're gonna have here, and then we have this other one. So once again, we have here that seal, that big seal, right? Big seal here. We have this triangular head for the bear with the nose. Okay, the arm is working this way. We have the leg. Now, the leg, when you watch the leg from the front, you maybe see that they work like this. I kind of showed it before when I was talking about this bear standing up. So it will look kind of like this. So in a quick way, you can make the leg going like this, right? Let me grab another one. This is pretty funny because it looks like a cartoon. How am I on time, guys? Can I keep going with this?
Yeah, about 5 minutes.
Awesome. Okay, so here's another one. It looks like Winnie the Pooh. But it's from the real reference. It's from a real bear. And I really like how simple the shapes creates the bear in here. Check this out. If you think about it, we have like the head, and we have here like a heart shape, and just the legs here, and basically we have the bear, and of course the ears get the bears there. Look, it looks like a koala, this one, and it's kind of angry about something. I'm just making fun of me. Okay, so this is another thing I want to tell you. The neck is a pretty big neck. It's a pretty wide and broad neck, and there's a line in the middle of the chest. So we also have that to be aware of the rotation of the torso of the bear, right? You will see this line every time you see a bear. In the middle of the chest, you'll see a line. I have no idea if, Mike, you can tell about it, about the specific anatomy. That would be great. I have no idea what it is, but it really helped me to find like the center of the bear torso, right?
Yeah, that center line you're talking about, that's just like human anatomy, where what you're seeing in mammals is the sternum, right? And the pectoralis.
Yeah,
So
but it does something with the hair. I don't know
well,
what it
yeah.
creates like a...
Yeah, some, animals, of course, they have their own patterns to their hair, and they don't have natural centers as well, based on the hair and how it grows. Most definitely. Just like a people, though, ours does too. Yep.
Okay, here's another drawing. Well, basically what I'm showing you, I'm trying not teaching any specific about this, because I'm not even close to a master of animal drawing. But what I can tell you is, take a look in a couple of days how I was able to get these simple concepts and ideas of how the bear works, how the anatomy of the bear works, to get to this kind of drawings. So understanding functionality and the basic rhythms and forces on the body of the bears, in this case, will help you pretty much to get these simple ideas and start studying a little more, going in more in depth of the animal you want to learn. So of course it takes time, and you gotta be able to represent like a volume and understand rhythms on the drawing itself. But other than that, using these force like kind of shortcuts, I don't want to say shortcuts because they are not shortcuts, you can pretty much understand how animal works, right? So well, I don't want to eat time, so I think my time is over now. Thank you for letting me talk about something that I don't really know that much, but I hope you get something out of it. If you want to live with something about this 15 minutes, is draw a lot, but try to understand what you're drawing, and don't just copy whatever you see in the photograph. Try to understand it and try to find what is exactly that makes what you're drawing look like what you're drawing, and why how it works, and why it works like that. Mike explained before, if you turn your torso downwards and you start feeling like a human being but being an animal, I'm getting tongue twister right now, and being an animal, you have to change things of the anatomy to be able to work and to walk in 4 legs instead of just 2. So try to understand those things before just copying stuff. Okay, well, thank you guys. Now it's your turn, Swendly.
All right, thank you, Diego. That was awesome.
Yes,
Yeah, I think
thank you.
to your point, you really proved out how you know, you can take the force approach, which is actually pretty simple if you can understand form and get the shape design. And bears are a great way to start, right? So the order we're going in today, everyone, is the order I would recommend in learning how to draw animals. That you go from like a seal, and then move from a seal to a bear, and then a bear to what Swendly will be talking about next. So, all yours, Swendly.
Yes, thank you, Mike. Let's share the screen. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yes.
All right, so Diego started with the Plantigrades, and I have the Digitigrade. And one of the, I would say, most well-known ones is, of course, a dog. And as you can see here, we have again, and this is Mike's drawing from the Force Animal drawing book, if you're wondering. And here we can see the comparative anatomy. Like, for example, now, instead of walking, grab a new layer. Let's see. Yeah, so with the Plantigrade, they were walking like, you know, on this part of the foot. But as you can see, with the Digitigrade, they're basically like walking on their digits, you know. So here we can see in the diagram, again, the force animal shape, the 3 main forces. And what it starts changing now, like Mike explained earlier, is what's happening with the legs, how the legs work. And here you can see some important notes, like the elbow is closer to the body, why the knee isn't. And actually the elbow and the knee are on the same like height, but because of the shape of the body, right, you have a bigger amount of space here compared to here. But if you notice proportion wise, it's kind of the same heights. And also here, like this is just the joint is a little higher here at the back. And then we go over, like when you draw this last portion of the dog's leg, you need to remember, like this is for us is the bottom of our foot, right? So this would be pretty much a straight line. And this would be like the palm of the hand, right? So you would find like pretty straight moments in those areas. And one thing to also keep in mind is the pelvis. Like this is rigid bone structure. So if you look at a dog, you would like notice this slightly straight moment, like this hard angle going on here. So these are things to like important to keep in mind when drawing. Not only the dogs, but all the animals that all the mammals that we're going to show you guys here. And of course, in terms of practicing, I would say start simple, like Mike showed at the beginning. Start with the torso. You know, you can see some studies I did when I was getting back into animal drawing. Like I stand right up there with Josh Hunter Black in that. For me, it was quite challenging to draw animals. You know, I practiced out of a lot of books. In the past, I copied anatomy diagrams, but once I learned the forced animal shape, it was quite revolutionary, actually. It really simplified the process of drawing animals and made it like less scary, you know. All of a sudden, it was so simple, even to draw them from imagination. So what I did, I grabbed some references. I just focused on finding the main forces, the main rhythms of the body. I attached the tail and the heads. And of course, like we saw earlier, these have volume, like it's not flat. So keep in mind, once you start turning that forced animal shape in the 3D space, keep in mind the volume and the turning edges to start giving you dimension, right? Otherwise, you'll end up with just a flat shape, which is not what a real animal looks like. So yeah, in terms of practicing, just start with a forced animal shape, focus on the torso and the heads, draw that from different angles, also from imagination, you know, just to get used to those main forces and how the torso works. Same here, some more studies, practicing in 3D space and noticing that when the animal kind of bends its back, you know, all of a sudden the force changes, right? Because we want the line that we use to show how the torso is working during the action. So all of a sudden, instead of this S curve, we have a C curve because of the strong bend that is occurring. And then, of course, I did some more elaborate studies. Here I started to add the legs, as you can see, and I highlighted the force animal shape. And I drew this from a 3D sculpt, actually, which I thought was really awesome. And the anatomy was really clear, and it had a ton of force. It was a very good sculpt, so I decided to study from it. Here we have another one. Like in the first pass, I tried this S curve for the torso, but when I looked at the reference and compared to my drawing, I was like, okay, the dog in the reference was not functioning like this. He had this really clear curve at the back, which then connected into the head and neck. You know, so that's also the power of iterations, like we looked at a couple of sessions ago. That don't pressure yourself that you have to get everything right in the first try. You know, just like with the human figure, draw multiple iterations. Draw this like you know, 3 times, 5 times. Some students go as far as doing it 15 times. You know, just put in the work to get familiar with how the animal shape works, and yeah, to just make sure that your drawing works like what you're looking at in the reference. Let's see, I think I have one last one. And I really like this one because of all the energy that it has. Like the dog's body was really stretching. Like the forces remain the same, it's just more stretched out actually. And when drawing animals, like if you observe them, you can see that the torso there is a certain amount of flexibility and elasticity to it, if you can call it. Like during certain actions, the torso compresses a bit, and in actions like these, it really stretches out.
Yeah, the cheetah is probably, I would say, one of the best digigrades to look at for that stretch and compress in the run, you know?
Yeah, indeed. And it makes your drawing so much more interesting and believable, especially if you're animating. That's something that you want to be aware of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think I can do a quick demo. Now, of course, the first step is to learn to see the force animal shape. And I think it's a good idea to maybe draw it on top of the photograph. Because if you cannot see the forces, then you don't understand what you're looking at, and you can't draw it, right? So let's see the force animal shape. Most of the time I start with the hanging front part of the torso. Like you can really feel this hanging. And especially if you watch a dog like in real life walking, you can really feel like the hanging and how like gravity is pulling down on this mass. So this is our first force, which then connects into the force at the back. Then we can close the shape here. We can close the shape here. Now here we have like this opening for the neck. And then this force connects into the force of the head and neck. And for now, we're just going to simplify this shape. You have the straight here, this is the curve. So this is step number one, right? Let me grab. So these are our three forces. So this is one, this is two, and this is three. So yeah, this is like how I would recommend starting out. Practice the torso and attach the head and neck. Get used to those forces and draw them from different angles. Draw it from reference, draw it from imagination, and really get like comfortable with drawing the force animal shape. And once you have practiced that to a certain degree, you can start adding the limbs. How am I doing with the time?
About 2 or 3 more minutes.
2 or 3 more minutes. Okay, now let me also do that. Let me go back in that case. Let's see if I can quickly add the limbs on top. Let's see. So here we have like the shoulder blade, which then flows into, this is the upper arm, right? We can see the elbow sticking out here. Force is traveling here. This is the forearm. And here we reach the wrist, right? So this is bending. And
You know you're doing this right, everyone, if you know you're doing this correctly if you start looking at animals and they look really weird because they start looking like people walking around on their arms and legs, right? Then you know you're on the right path when it starts to freak you out.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, it's easier if you compare to something that you're familiar with, right?
Yeah.
So again, first of all, find the forces. Oops. And once you have the forces, you can close the shapes. You can put a straight on the other side. And keep in mind that this has volume. It's not a flat shape. Let's see. So here I can see like the pelvis, which then flows into the upper leg. So this is the thigh. This is the calf. This would be like the bottom of the foot right there. So it's a straight moment. Same for the other side. I'm thinking about how it connects to the pelvis on the other side. And here we have another straight moment, and we have a little directional force here at the end. And we can close the shapes. And of course, we can find the forces of the tail also, like this. And of course, if it helps, you can just take a photo and just, you know, put a sheet of paper on top, or if you're working digitally, just add a layer on top and try to find the these main forces on top. Because again, if you cannot see it, then you can draw it, right? So it's very important to learn to actually see it. Like Mike said, once you can like really see the comparative anatomy, to humans, then you know you're on the right track. All right, so that's it for my part. Hope this was insightful for you guys, and I'm giving it to our fourth senpai, Mritunjay.
Thank you,
Good
Swendly.
job, Swendly.
See, and I'm
Awesome. Awesome drawings.
Thank
So,
you.
all right, guys, let me share my screen quickly. Hope you can see it.
Yes.
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 Okay. So yes, guys, I'm here, you know, with this part. So the class that I'm going to explain you with the animals is called the Unguligrades or ungulates, you know, whatever, you know, they like to call it. So this is actually, you know, I would say a little bit of tough to draw because they're actually different from human comparative, you know, anatomy there. So yeah, it's obviously comparable, you know, just like we follow the steps like from might to seal from like to horse right now. But yeah, it's actually a little bit different, you know, because like we always said, you know, just like take the pose yourself in the humans, right, to feel it. But if you want to take the pose yourself in the horse, you know, want to feel it, you literally have to like have the ability to stand on your fingernails, right? It's because the ungulates, okay, they actually stand on their fingernails, right? The exception is always that they have like really big fingernails, you know, which is we call hoof, right? And they have like the ability to take the animals like whole body weight, okay, on them. So yeah, let's see what we can do here. So again, like look at the comparative anatomy here. Okay. So again, you see the scapula like this, you know, and you got the humerus coming here. Okay. And what I'm gonna do is make a little bit of a human arm sketch here, like the skeleton sketch here. Really simple, right? So we got like the scapula, okay? We got the scapula here, we got the humerus here, and we got like the radius and ulna or forearm bones here. And then we got like a little small like 8 bones in our wrist, okay? And then we got like what we call like metacarpals here, okay? Got like metacarpals and like 3 other bones, you know, to complete like the finger here. So if we compare it to a horse, okay, the ungulates, you can see like the scapula here. Okay, it's let me take the red here, orange. It's like the scapula here, the humerus is here. Okay, and this is actually the part of the forearm. Okay, it's forearm. So you see this little bone here. Okay, so it's actually like fuses up with the radius bone and the ungulates and the animals. Okay, so they are like actually like the forearm of the horse. And when you get here, that's actually the wrist. So you can see like the amazement of it, that the wrist is actually so higher up in the horse, like almost half a way of it. Okay, and actually, when we step further into the animal kingdom, as Mike says, it is like always the most important thing is like what lies underneath this force animal shape. Okay, you can see like the force animal shape is pretty clear again. It's just like some changes of the proportions and all of such that changes like the upper body parts, but what actually lies there, it makes their class different like from other animals. So yeah, let's get with it. So here we got the wrist here. Now this long bone, what is called, this is actually our finger bone, like here. It actually lies here, which is called metacarpal bone. Okay, so that is actually very long in the horse. Now what else? We got like 1, 2, and 3 parts like for the finger to complete, and you can see like here 1, 2, and 3. So yeah, they literally just like stand and on their like fingernails, and when you see like your finger, the last part of it, the fingernail is attached to it. Okay, so the hoof of the horse is yeah, actually does that job in there. Okay, so yeah, that is it. Now let's talk about the leg a little bit. This is the front leg. Yeah, here we got the leg. So again, let's see. This is the pelvis of the horse. They got actually some weird angles, uh, just not like the human that's like round and all of that type of that. It's got like weird shapes and volumes. Okay, so that actually does make an angle here. So something like this, and you can see like the opposite angle. That's the opposing factor in the horse. That scapula is here. I mean, in animals, it's in all the animals, not just ungulates. So the scapula is like this. The pelvis is like this. They just actually make an opposite angle. Anyways, now we got the femur here. Okay, and now let's again, it's a point of amazement to watch that knee is here. Just like it's almost like your knee is like touching your torso, like here. Okay, on your rib cage. So just behind your rib cage. So it's like really weird, but yeah, that's it. That's it. What it is. This is your knee here, and now we got tibia and fibula in humans. So this is what it looks like in horse. So you can see like it's how it's like making angles, like zigzag, 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 lines in here. Yeah, really great. And here we got the heel. So again, heel is like stays up very high into the ungulates, right? So this is the heel, and this is like the middle part of the foot, which is what we call it tarsals, okay, in anatomy, right? So this is the tarsal bone, and I got a close up for the foot, so don't worry about it. And then again, to complete the finger, you just have to like 3 more bones. So just 1, 2, and 3. So yeah, actually, that actually completes the leg of the horse, like ungulates, right? So this is the comparative anatomy. Let's look at here really quick. Some weird illustration. So this is the horse one, and this is how we have to manipulate the human's anatomy, to compare with the horse. So look here, you got your heel here, you got like a really, really long foot, and you're literally like standing on your like toe or fingernail, whatever you call it. So same with the hand here. Yep. And now let's look at the another one. Yeah. Yeah, this one. So I've got actually a close up of the human foot and the horse's foot, right? So you can see like these bones, this actually like stays up higher. I didn't draw it here. This is actually the part. So let's look at this finger. So this bone is actually the long bone that like it's the bottom, stays at the bottom of the horse. And then you got like 3 fingers here. So you got like 1, you got like 2 and 3. So it actually like 2 of them stays into the hoof there. Okay, so yeah, just a little close up here. And yeah, a little bit of I just want to talk about some different aspects of the horse, especially because yeah, just we talked in about the other streams that don't actually push concaves, concaves about the concaves. don't actually push concaves into the human figure. Okay, so if you're drawing a human figure, you should be always like drawing like convexes, right? But it's different in basically in horses because and ungulates class because the concaves are actually become an important part of this class, okay? Because they got like so bony into there. Look at our hands, they don't got like too many muscles there. Okay, so it's comparatively very bony, right, to other parts of the body. And same with the animals, but just because they have like so big of like scale is so big of these small bones in our hands and feet, they just like got bony as well. So the shape of the bone is definitely like this. So yeah, don't actually hesitate to bring a little bit of concaves. Don't do it too much, otherwise you're gonna be like distorting it. Don't do it like this, right? But yeah, just it will be a little bit good if do a little bit of studies on the like how like where the concaves actually lies. And yeah, that's like the main some pointers to draw ungulates. And let's get to a little demo, really quick demo. So let's get back. So actually, I'm going to be drawing with the like my imagination. Again, I'm researching on horses. So yeah, let's see what we got. So starting with the animal shape, right? Let's start with the animal shape. So you can see like I'm literally like just like drawing really quick forces here. Okay. So yeah. And if just like if you research a little bit about the force animal shape, you just have to like change the proportions. If you want to like draw a giraffe, so as Mike says, it will be like really triangular body, and this part of it will like really like goes into the neck, and just like the proportions changes, and yeah, that's it. So yeah, like, I'm just like soft touching right now, just figuring out the force animal shape, right? So you can see like how it like actually flows. It flows here, then it goes into the belly, like really hanging off the rib cage, and then like goes into neck there. Okay, so something like this, and just got a little bit like, yeah, really simple. I don't want you just like to go into like anatomy and all this kind of stuff. Just really like simple animal shape. Let me like just draw some really quick arms and legs here. Right? And actually, like I'm actually researching on the horses a little bit now these days, so it's gonna be like relatively easy for me right now. So yeah, you can see like I'm like pushing a little bit of concaves in there. Okay, so that actually I can say it's like a characteristic of ungulates animal because if you like compared to a bear, bear are like really furry. You're not gonna be seeing their bones at all, except their fingernails and all. But yeah, in horses, it's like so bony. They're like skinny. They're like lean muscled. So yeah, you definitely gotta see it. Let me get some little quick limbs here. And this is like basically like I'm just like soft touching things right now. Okay, it's not like my final iteration, but just like figuring out forces, you can say. Constant resizing. I'm just like going on a small one, and just get me on the time. Yeah, guys, are you there?
Yeah, you got a couple more minutes.
Okay.
No, we all went away. You're just alone. Yeah.
We went out to drinks. There's like nobody here. It's like a little cardboard cutout of each of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me. Really
We're
get
mesmerized by your horse drawing.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, actually, just that's enough of the soft touch. Just my final, the main force is the force animal shape is there, and a little bit of perspective is there, and yeah, just like that's the soft touch for it. And now I'm just like gonna literally just gonna clean it, not cleaning it up, but just like making it more clear.
Yep.
Yeah. Same pitch.
Yeah.
That's good.
So as most of you know, I mean, I think it's kind of known in the world of art and drawing that probably the horse is the one of the toughest things, if not the toughest thing to draw, you know.
Mhm.
And you can see how Mritunjay is pretty effectively moved through this by just getting the force shape, knowing the basics of the comparative anatomy, and he's staying very gestural at the same time, right? Notice he's not getting caught up in the anatomy at the beginning. Somebody had asked earlier in the chat about learning the anatomy. I think it is important to learn the anatomy. You should know the anatomy, but just like drawing force from the figure, it's not the first thing you want to go after. You want to understand the gesture first, which is coming from the forces, which gives us a sense of how things move, right? And then you start understanding how the anatomy is the stuff that's helping that move, right? So you can see he's piling it in after. Yeah, it's great, beautiful drawing.
Thank you. I just look really quickly. Okay, so again, like a knee here, it's like really mesmerizing, you know, like how high the knee is up there. And really quickly, something like this. Yeah. So yeah, so just like know the basics of it, guys, and this all comes like later, like all like the bumpiness of it and like the bony structure of it. So anyways, and like as I said, like I'm researching on the horses, so that's gonna be like a little bit of easy, like from you guys who've been like really starting out. But yeah, you'll learn that too, you know.
Yeah, and again, you know, as we close up today, I wouldn't recommend starting with horses. I would say go from seals through bears, through cats and dogs, and finally to ungulates, which are hoofed animals. That would be, you know, goats and deer and horse. Those are definitely the toughest ones. I would probably try to handle those in the end.
Yep. Yep. So guys, here it is.
Yeah, nice.
The quick horse. You can see the clarity of the animal shape here. It lies here, here, and yeah, that's it. So thank you for joining.
Thank you, Mritunjay. It's awesome.
Yeah, awesome.
So cool, man. I always tell you, you're amazing, man.
You know what to say. It's great.
Okay, so hand over share to me, Mritunjay, and let's get back to my Photoshop document.
Stop share. Yeah.
There we go. Okay. All right. So in closing, everyone, I just want to remind you about this weekend, right? So those of you that are on this channel, tomorrow at 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, there will be an interview. I think it's about an hour and 45 minutes long. So just got a ton of information about all the stuff that Gary has gone through to become the concept artist that he is today. You can check out his Instagram. I think it's in the write-up, if I'm not mistaken, in the description for the interview. So go check that out prior to the interview itself. And at the end of the interview, like I said, he's going to do a demo, so you'll get to see like how he works. Yeah, I had a great time talking to Gary, and it's really informative. I think there's a lot of inspirational conversation there for you guys. And that's it. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you like what we're doing here at Force with Mike Mattesi, and you know, hit the bell button for notifications. Next week, we're going to take off next week, actually. So next week, there will not be a Force Friday, okay? We're going to actually take a little vacation here at the end of the summer, and then we will return on the following Friday, okay? So, but for, you know, besides that, like I said, I will see the rest of you tomorrow. I will be there with Gary for the live, you know, premiere chat, okay? Sounded like one of you guys were going to say something. Anything?
Nope. Goodbye.
All right. Yes. Goodbye, everyone. Have a great week and a great weekend. I'll see you guys tomorrow at the interview, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Bye,
Take care,
guys.
everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks again, guys. Good job.
Bye.
Bye.